Yeah, very good morning to you, Blaine. Good morning once again to our viewers. Blaine, since the last time we spoke about an hour or so ago, I can tell you that a busload of health professionals, in addition to those that were already inside the building when we arrived this morning, have arrived here. It's already, Blaine, been said to be one of the biggest operations that the city of Durban, and in fact the province of KwaZulu-Natal, has seen since the country went under lockdown. Of course, as you said there, that this operation follows a tip-off that came through the Department of Economic Development here in KwaZulu-Natal, when one of the employees had complained that they were stuck inside the building. In fact, that there were hundreds of people that were stuck inside the building. Many of the employees were not allowed to leave, and what was worse was that they presented with flu-like symptoms, and of course that was the biggest concern of the department. They then immediately took that information to the law enforcement officers, who immediately also started their investigation. And as you said, last night the police officers, law enforcement Metro South African Police Force, as well as the South African National Defence Force, then descending on the building. And as soon as they entered into a section where they found that people were not well, they then retreated, completely locked the building. No one was coming in or going out from last night. And then this morning they were able to bring in the health officials, who then started going through. And we understand, Blaine, that this is going to be an operation that is possibly going to take place throughout the day and maybe into the night, as they have to go in. It's quite a large building with a number of shops inside, and so they're going to have to be moving shop by shop. They're going to have to screen everybody that is inside this building, and possibly, who knows, even try to track people who had made contact inside of this a building, who might not be here, who might be spread out in different parts of the city or the province. But now let me bring in the spokesperson for the Department of Economic Development here in KwaZulu-Natal, Mr. Ayanda Mhlongo. Mr. Sibiya, thank you so much, sir, for agreeing to chat with us this morning. Of course, it was your department that raised the alarm after you received a tip-off through the hotline from the department. Just tell us, in terms of, are you able to tell us what was raised when the complainant called through? And so far, I know you've been able to speak to some of the officials that are here from the various departments as well. Give us an update on what is happening currently.
Well, good morning, Ms. Mhlongo, and good morning to the viewers at home. Well, we can confirm that this complaint was received by the department. The MEC for Economic Development, Tourism and Environmental Affairs, Nomsa Tubengube, immediately processed the complaint. She handed it over to the Provincial Commissioner of South African Police Services here in the province, and all other law enforcement agencies yesterday morning. And she has expressed her appreciation to the leadership here in the province, especially the law enforcement agencies, for moving with speed in terms of dealing with all the complaints that we've received as a department. Over the past few weeks, we've been dealing with complaints coming from all corners of the province, and the MEC has assured the people of KwaZulu-Natal, the consumers, that she'll always be on the side of the vulnerable members of society. Yesterday, after handing over this complaint to the law enforcement agencies, she embarked on a campaign, which is aimed at protecting consumers against price hikes. She visited retail shops where she emphasized the need, for the employers, to protect their workers. She has described the workforce as a vulnerable resource, a special resource that we must protect, because over the next few months we will be embarking on a campaign to stimulate different sectors of the economy. She has actually indicated that the workforce is going to be instrumental in terms of stimulating sectors of the economy. With regards to this complaint, we can actually confirm that the complained about the conditions under which they are working, and the complainant complained about the fact that the building is not sanitized. You'll recall that last week the MEC Nomsa Tubengube issued a statement appealing to the owners of properties here in KwaZulu-Natal, saying to the property owners, they must make sure that the buildings are sanitized, the workers are protected, because this virus is going to be creating more havoc. It's going to collapse the economy of the province. So therefore, there has to be a move in the direction of protecting the workers of this province.
Are you able to tell us from the complainant how many people? We estimated from what we picked up from our sources that there are around 300 people that are locked inside the building. Are you able to tell us from the information that you've possibly received how were they staying? Were they all locked together in one room? And of course, we understand that some were presenting with flu-like symptoms.
Well, I think what is important is just to indicate that the MEC has handed over the complaint to the law enforcement agencies, and she's indicated that she would like to see the law enforcement agencies, the health professionals taking over. And I think from where we are standing, we cannot comment about what is happening inside, except to say the MEC will be dealing with all these complaints that we are receiving as the department. She has emphasized that she'll always be on the side of the vulnerable members of society. She would like to see the people of KwaZulu-Natal living in harmony. She would like to see the workforce, more importantly, contributing towards the growth of this province, and those are the issues that the MEC is prioritizing at the moment.
You've also brought in other government departments. We saw the Department of Labour is here, of course, more importantly health is here. We know Customs, SARS as well, they've also been activated to be here. Your department is here. Just speak to us about them, or the importance, of course, of all of these departments now coming together.
Well, the MEC Nomsa Dube, she's discouraging a silo mentality. She's emphasizing that all civil servants, all categories of staff in the Department of Economic Development, Tourism and Environmental Affairs must work in an integrated fashion. That is why she has expressed her appreciation to the leadership of various government departments that are involved in this operation. There's Department of Labour and Employment, Home Affairs, we've got the Department of Health, and many other strategic departments and agencies that are involved in this operation. And obviously this is a first operation here in KwaZulu-Natal, and we believe that those consumers and complainants that are sending complaints into the department, they are going to realize that the leadership of the province is dealing with these complaints. They are ensuring that as we move forward, no stone is left unturned.
Just speaking about my last question to you, just speaking about the complaints that have come through, which has led to this massive raid here. The hotline, how helpful has it been? I mean, this clearly shows with the amount of resources and all the agencies that have come together in this raid. And I know this is not the only one that you've had here in the Durban CBD and other parts of the province, but just the importance for people to understand that if they do call, the department is going to go through thoroughly every single complaint that comes through, and it could result in police coming in these numbers.
Well, the MEC Nomsa Dube was supposed to be here, but because there are other complaints that she's processing, she's in Utugela district, where she's the champion of Operation Sugumasake. She's interacting with consumers, and she has assured the people of KwaZulu-Natal that every day she sets aside time to go through all these complaints, and she hands over all these complaints to the relevant authorities and departments for further investigation.
All right, Ndabe, thank you so much for your time. Ndabe Zintle, SB, the spokesperson for the Department of Economic Development here in the province of KwaZulu-Natal. They were the department that received information about a certain wrongdoing that was taking place here in this building, coming from a concerned worker that had been stuck here. Just very quickly, Blaine, before I hand back to you can see the buses there from the Department of Health are now lined up in front of the building, and we understand that they are soon possibly going to be removing some of the workers and those that are going to find that are not well, and they're going to then be transported to hospitals around the Durban CBD. It is beginning to rain, of course, making the work of the police officers a little bit more difficult, but it's an operation that we understand is going to take place possibly throughout the course of the day, Blaine.
All right, Ayanda, we'll come back to you in a short while to get an update from